Hi, welcome to another example of Roboflow. In this training movie, I will show you how to create a workflow that can update a record in a catalog and even overwrite in if wanted. We're going to create a new workflow. I'm going to call it RoboXX and it's a hot folder. Update record and file. In a previous Cumulus 8 version, you could take a pre-built workflow that fit almost that bill or that was able to do that, but I want to build this from scratch because that gives us much more flexibility in Cumulus 9, and since the old pre-built workflows will disappear after a while, it's much better to build it from scratch in this new interface. So the folder I'm going to look at, I'm not going to select a folder, I'm going to use my parameter folder and have there a drop folder where I want to drop my files off. And if I say select, it's going to say I don't find it. I don't care. I know you don't find it, but I just go inside that folder here, and I can say new folder and I call it drop folder. And okay. And if I were to say OK now, it would save it back, but I don't want that. I want to keep it like this. If I do now, it finds it immediately. I want to keep it generic so you can use it when importing this workflow. Good. Other than that, not much to set here. I'm going to my actions. So the first thing I want to do is open a catalog. So Cumulus catalog, open a catalog, and what catalog do I want to do this in? I have a watch folder catalog, and the output variable is my catalog, just like that. It's always a good practice immediately when you open the catalog to put the close catalog in. So here we go, close catalog. It says which catalog, my catalog, etc. There's at this point in this example, it will open and close the catalog for every file. This gives you the flexibility that you could look for the folder of this file and maybe have per drop folder a subfolder that is the name of the catalog to where it has to be dropped. So that gives you opportunities, and that is the reason why you would do it this way. If it's always the same catalog, you could also here add in the name of the tag the word global, just like this, my global, and in which case I would here do also global. What does that mean? That means that it will store it across the whole run of this workflow. So what I do for that is I'm going to tell it to test what workflow stage we are in, and if the workflow is at the first item of a loop, I'm going to put here, let me do this, I'm going to put that inside, paste, and that means that only if it's for the first item I will open the catalog. And same here for the close, I'm going to look for the progress. I'm going to ask for the progress to give me the last item of the loop, and so after the last item of the loop I will here put in the catalog, just like that. It is always good to add a little bit of sensible comment here, so I can put here test if first loop of workflow to open catalog. like that. Then we have nicely that comment here, and same here. I can say test for last loop to close the catalog. Very easy. So that's all we need. We can close this. And now what we want to do is we have a file. And so we want to look for that file in a catalog. We already opened the catalog. So now we need to think about the unique identifier for this file. In this case, I'm going to do a simple example. I'm going to say I'm looking for the file name. And for me, the unique link between the two is the file name. So I'm looking for file folder actions, and I'm going to store a part of the file. What part am I going to store? Well, which file is the hot file? I'm going to store the file name without extension. I'm going to allow a different file coming in with a different extension, and this workflow will replace it. And say you have a high-res TIFF and you want to, or CR2 one, and you want this to be replaced by another one, then this is the way to do it. So I'm going to say file name without extension. Store part of file. Here I could say file name without extension. So I can copy this and I can say this, and that gives me just that little bit more information here in my help. Next thing I want to do is I want to do a search in the catalog. I want to find I want not to test, sorry. I want to find. So find is a catalog action. I want to find in the catalog. So I'm doing find records here, and then what catalog I want to search in, and then I want to, not yet test. I want to create a query. I'm going to say record name or file name, whatever you want to use, whatever is good for your catalog or your setup, and I'm going to say watch out if you don't know the syntax. It's in this case it starts with that I want to use. If you don't know this syntax, just go to the Cumulus client advanced window, and you can just say I want the record name, and I want to say starts with, and I say abracadabra something. And if you want to know what the syntax is, oh, it didn't do it. Simple mode, record name starts with, and then advanced mode, there you have it. So you can see it uses this. You can either use the simple syntax just by specifying the name, or you could specify the whole string like this. And let's go back. I did it the simple syntax, and then I say I want to test here something. What do I want to use? Well, the only thing you have to remember from the old version of Cumulus is that there was an instruction called tag, with which you could get to information of other pre-stored information. So I called that file name without extension. So what I do is I say file name without extension. That is exactly how I was calling it here. So there you go. And then record found. Good. Find records whose name start with the file name. Now what I always do is here I add in this query a dot, so then you know that whatever comes after it is the file extension, to avoid running into getting a record back that is not the right amount, the right one. Good. So now what I want to do is new. I want to I could test how many results I have, or I could just say I want to process the record because I know I can only get one record. I could also test how many records did I get? Did I only get one? Okay. Did I get 0? I could notify somebody that it wasn't found, or I could catalog in that case the file as new. All options that you have. Basically here I want in this case to process the records that I just found. So process the records in this collection. Okay, so it's asking me which catalog to use. In this case it's this one. And what's my output variable? Normally the system, when creating objects, it will call it hot. So a file presented to the workflow in a hot folder is hot. A record presented in a hot collection workflow is hot. So you can call it hot here. There are no other records from this workflow, so that's safe. Don't do that in case you are inside a hot collection workflow, because then you might be overwriting an existing object. So I'm saying okay, and now I click this open to put instructions inside. I found the record, so what do I want to do? I want to store the location of the file, because I want to copy the file to the same location where this file is at. In case you're not using the vault but real locations, I can now say I want to get to a file. Sorry, I want to get to a particular folder. So what I want to do is, there's an easy way and a hard way. I want to get from the record a value. I could store the file from the record, then ask the folder from that file. That is one option. I can ask the field, the Cumulus field. I can store the record field value and ask for the asset reference. If you're certain that your catalog has files and they're up to date, the easy way to do it is just to ask for the file of the record. So let's see if it's in here. Move, rename, process. No, you see it's not in here, so it will probably be under record. And under record we can copy, move, export, import, new record, set record value, store record field value. So apparently there is no store file from record functionality at this point, so something to remember or to have for our next version maybe. So let's go for the store record field value. And in this record field value, I'm using this record. Which field? I'm using the asset reference from, oh sorry, yeah, of course, the file field name that I'm looking for is asset reference. There it is. And I can say okay. Now there's a little I can do it this way, then I can create a file object from it. There's a shorter way. I can just say I want a folder. This is not documented, but now you know it. So you have the possibility to get right away the folder of original. So I'm saying store folder of original file. Next I want to do is, I have now that folder, so I want to create, I want to copy the original file that I found to it. Now remember, you see that it was put here. Why? I forgot to select this when I clicked new. So I just can say cut, paste, and I'm now right inside my process records. Next thing is, now I'm going to have to copy the file, but I know that the file requires a folder to copy it to. But let's say that I do make the mistake, and let's say that I'm just going for copy move file. Okay, here I can say I want to copy which file, well, and where do I want to copy to? You see, this is what I'm lacking, so I'm not gonna have it now. I'll add it later. and I just want to copy the file, nothing else, and this is the copied file. So copy the hot file to the target folder. Good. So I click here above because I want to put an instruction above it. I want, like I said before, to store path as a folder. I want a folder object to be able to copy it to. What is the path to store? Well, I stored it a little bit before, so it's in the past we were sometimes using $signs. That's only in Cumulus 8 version necessary, or Cumulus 8 pre-built workflows necessary. In Cumulus 9 we only need to use the hash tag to surround the tag instruction, and I have my folder of original. Let's see, folder of original, folder of original, folder of original. That's the one I want. And what do I want to do with it? Well, I want to store that folder. And yeah, create if not exist. It should exist, but you could do it anyway. And I say target from a target folder, just like that. Okay. Now when I go back here and I do the drop down, it nicely has that object. I could change the target file name. I don't want to do that. And now I can say this is the new file copy. Okay. Now I want to update the record. I want to change the record to this new version. So what I am going to do is I'm going to set the asset reference of the old version to the new version. So I first need to get the path of this file. So what I'm saying is, where is the file folder thing? Here. I want to store a part of a file as text. And then what file? Well, my newly copied file. What do I want to do? I want to store the file path. And then text from file. Yeah, that's just file path. And so let's call it new file path. File path. Okay. And now I'm going to Cumulus functionality, Cumulus record functionality, set asset reference. So let's have a look where that might be at. That's very simple. It's actually set a field value. So we are going to set a record field value. Okay. And what record? Hot. What field? Watch folder catalog, the asset reference again. Okay, and we're setting the asset reference to what value? The new file path. Okay, and the only thing that is left now is to update the record. So I'm saying Cumulus record, update the record. And it says which record? It says update always, or if has changed, an asset handling set and a permission set that allow you to do that, perform that action. We could, after this step, delete the original, or you can keep the original. So if it was a different file name, it will just have put it right beside it. Okay. So we have prepared our workflow. It will first open a catalog, search for the file name without extension, and then it will copy the file to the same location of the record found, and update the system. So let's get a file. Where would we go? I could go here and say I have already a watch folder, and I think here, yeah, okay, show location, there we go. And let's say I have this file, this is the original, and now I'm going to ask here, this is a PNG, that's not good, I'm going to use another example. Okay, that's also PNG. Oh, not all these PNGs, I don't like that. So let's go back to the folder, see if we have some other file in there. Maybe here. There, you got it. That's a TIFF. So let me first catalog that file. The idea is I have a file in my catalog, and now a new version comes in, maybe a correction on it, an alternate version, and I will just want to replace it in Cumulus. So I'm going to create that other version. In reality, this would of course be a process somewhere you do in Photoshop or another tool. Did I not click properly? Where is it? There we go. And now I'm asking for where to put it. So let's see where I can put this. So Canto, and then we go to the workflows here, hot folder, update, record, and file. And remember, we created this drop folder. So yeah, just put it there. If we go and have a look at that particular, a bit quick, at that particular folder, here's the drop folder. Here we see that we have an alternate. This has this watermark in it. It's a PNG. So now I'm going to ask the system to search for it and move it to the original location of this file. So let's see, I also have this one. So let's minimize this like that. And let's minimize that like this. There you go. So let's run the workflow. Here's my workflow. I just click on start and it will execute what I just wanted to execute. It removed the file here, it copied it to this location, and it updated the asset reference. So here you can see, if I look at the information window, it points to that same folder location that the original was in. And in this workflow, we chose not to delete the original, so it's still in the folder, but not visible, not cataloged in Cumulus. So this was another example on how to update your catalog with records coming in from a hot folder or drop folder. Thank you for joining me, and see you in another movie.